Okay, I want to share with you something that I call the anatomy of transformation. This is giving you a really, really important, vital foundation for the work that I do and really what it means to heal from the core of who you are. And that may sound like a very odd conceptual idea, but hang with me here and let me give you kind of an explanation. The way that God put it to me, whenever we're looking to be transformed from the inside out, and go from an identity-based perspective around food and nutrition and about healing rather than an image-based approach, we have to start from the inside and work outward. So what he did is he gave me kind of like a picture of layers, kind of like an onion. Has these smaller layers on the inside, and then it just kind of builds with layers externally. And if I had a whiteboard, I'd be showing you a circle, and then a circle outside of that, and then another circle outside of that. There's a total of 4 circles, a total of 4 layers. And this is just the way that God kind of gave it to me, and I'm just going to share it with you because I think it kind of helps people understand what's going on when we talk about transformation. The thing that God gave me when he said, I want you to be able to heal from the core of who you are, we have to start with the core. And when I say core, I mean this as the center of who you are. And the picture that I got was like a geode. And if you know what a geode is, it's like that rock formation that on the external, it looks just like an ordinary rock. But then you chop it open and you look at it kind of from the inside, and it has this beautiful crystal formation, and it's just gorgeous and glittering, and the most beautiful place of it is the center of it. And then there's other layers, and you can see those layers as you go farther and farther out. But the external part of it just looks like a normal rock. And God just showed me that's like your true self, that's like your heart is the center of that geode. Everything is whole and pure and perfect. And nothing needs to be added or subtracted. This is the place where there is love and connection. And that's what we all want. And this is the place that actually has the most power to heal you in your life and to heal your body. And so I'll explain more about that. But that's your core. The next layer that's kind of on the outside of the core here is the part of us that most people don't talk about a whole lot, and then most people refer to as the subconscious mind. And it's the part that I call the command central. It's the part that really runs the show. And if you've ever seen the picture of like an iceberg floating in water, and then you're able to see what's underneath the surface of the water, they talk about how like 80% of the iceberg is underneath the surface of the water, and you can only see the top part of it. That underneath the surface is our subconscious mind. That's a very good picture of there's so much going on underneath the surface that we don't see, we don't really know about, and we don't really validate, and we don't really know what to do with. So that is that subconscious part of us. And this part is so important because, like I mentioned before, it controls like 80% of what's going on in our mind. At least 80%. Some people say up to 95%. Of what's going on in our mind. So it controls, it's like the emotional center of our brains. It controls the emotions that are outputted into our body. It controls the beliefs that we've had from the past, these experiences that we've had in the past. And it's a part of us that's we're not as conscious of. It's also in charge of the involuntary systems of the body. Things like the heart beating, and breathing, and reflexes, and things that we don't think about that are happening all the time. So that's the subconscious part of the mind. And this one's a really, really important one because it's one that we don't talk about a whole lot that has a ton of power, because there's all these underlying things going on in our subconscious minds that we don't really even think about, we don't even really know what to do with. So if we can learn to work with the subconscious part of the mind, there's a lot of power to heal. And I've discovered that experientially and am discovering that more. So that's the subconscious mind. It's our command central. And then the next layer outside of that is the conscious mind. And the conscious mind is responsible for about somewhere between 20%, 5 to 20%. Not a whole lot, But it's still a great, very important part of our mind. And it's the part that we put a lot of faith in. This is the part that we tend to think, if so long as I know it, then I can do it. So long as I know the right diet, then I can do it. So long as I know what type of exercise, I can do it, because the subconscious part of the mind or the conscious part of the mind is more about willpower. It's more about knowing what to do, and it's what I call a processor. It's not the whole picture, it's only a small part of it, but it's like a processor. It can only process the information that we give it. So oftentimes we try to give it a job that it wasn't built to do. And I have a really great analogy for this that just really gave me an aha moment that I just want to share with you. And it's from a book that's a retelling of the story of Beauty and the Beast. And guys, hang in here with me if you're not like a fan of Beauty and the Beast. But this really does help. This helped a whole lot. This analogy, this picture helped me a whole lot. There's this part in the story where Beauty is in the Beast castle. And as you know, the castle is enchanted. And there's all these invisible servants that are kind of in the form of furniture and different things. Well, Beauty walks into the library and she sees this huge library filled with books, and she's like, oh my goodness, how do you reach the top shelves? And this staircase rolls up to her and almost like takes a little polite bow, and she says to it, you remind me of my butler in the city. Do you clean silver as well as he does? And the staircase kind of rolls backwards and looks like a little disoriented. And the Beast says to Beauty, don't distress it. It will try to clean silver to please you, but it wasn't built for it. And that is such a picture to me of the conscious mind. It will try to clean silver to please you, using the analogy, but it wasn't built for it. It wasn't built to do what we give it to do. We think, so long as I know what I should be doing, so long as I know the truth, so long as I know the right diet, so long as I consciously know, that means that I should be able to experience the transformation that I want to experience, and I should be able to do this. And then we find that we can't do it, and then we beat ourselves up, and we go into the struggle cycle, and that happens over and over and over again. The problem is not that there's anything wrong with you, it's that we're working with a part of the mind, asking it to do something that it wasn't built to do. So we have to begin to connect with a deeper part of us. So the next layer, we've got the core, we've got the subconscious mind, we've got the conscious mind. The outer layer of that, the fourth layer, is the body. And as you've probably heard me say before, the body is like a responder. It responds not only to the food that we eat and drink, the substances that we take in, but also, and more so, to the beliefs that we've picked up subconsciously or consciously. It picks up on those experiences. It remembers and records everything that's ever happened in our entire life. And so the body picks up on all of that. The body is a responder to all of that that's happened in the subconscious mind, in the conscious mind, and in the core. So it's a responder to all those other layers, all of them. And so sometimes I think that we have a very interesting view of the body. We kind of see it as something to fix, something to bring into submission, something that maybe doesn't really have much of a place in our life. Maybe it's kind of annoying to us, or we reject it, or we bully it, or we suppress it. But what I found that whenever we start to look at the body as kind of like a clue, since it's a responder to all those other layers, it can kind of give us a clue about what subconscious beliefs and experiences we might have had in the past. Or what is it that we're doing right now that isn't in alignment with who we are. It doesn't fit who we are. But we're trying to make it work because consciously we think, oh, that diet worked for someone else, so it should work for me. Or, oh, that piece of truth that someone else got, I just need to take that and I just need to learn it, memorize it, and I should be good. Well, it doesn't always work that way, as all of us know. So just remembering that the body is a responder to all of this other deeper part of who we are really helps us in the area of compassion. Okay, so let me give you a little example of why it's important to work with all these layers, especially the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And I have this little story that I love to tell that really gives a great parallel, gives a great picture of it. You've probably seen the movie Finding Nemo. at the very end, when all the fish in the fish tank have been put in those little plastic baggies while the fish tank is being cleaned, and they make their escape, and they hop down out of the window, and they hop across the street, and they land in the ocean, and they are so excited, and they turn around and they face this beautiful white ocean, and they see freedom in front of them. And then there's that moment where one of the fish says what all the other fish have been thinking, and he says, "Now what?" And the movie ends right there. And it's a perfect picture to me of what our experience is in this life right now. We have our identity. We all are already all we need to be. We're looking out at this wide ocean of the love of God, and we are in it, and that is already true about us. The only problem is that little plastic baggie, and it's blocking our experience of the ocean. It has nothing to do with our identity. The identity is all good. We're already great. Everything's fine. We're not able to experience the ocean and dive underneath the surface until we work with that plastic baggie. To me, that plastic baggie is a great picture of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. It's an invisible barrier that blocks us from being able to move forward into freedom. And that invisible barrier can also be there in the body as well. The foods and substances and things that we're taking in can be like poison to us. And so the more that we work with what's blocking us, the more that we're able to get past that plastic baggie and move into the freedom that's available to us. So I hope that this has helped you kind of have an understanding of where I'm coming from, what it means to heal from the core of who you are, how to work with these blockages. And actually we'll be talking about how to work with them much more in future videos. But just to know that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing messed up about you. There's only blockages and barriers keeping you from being able to experience the life that's already inside you.